Bird flu, chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they could have chickens. But lambs and cattle are easier to manage. Like they're more efficient because there is a social hierarchy within those animals because there's herd mentality with them. So you only have to control one of them and then everybody else will follow.
The leader.
Yeah, versus pigs.
So when they're herding lambs and cattle, do they know who the alpha cow is? And
The alpha
Kind of.
they can like just control that one.
Yeah, kind of.
Interesting. But pigs are all kind of independent.
Yeah, but as Lucy mentioned, I think, and what Jason just said, the harbinger of the disease, like that is probably how the plague started in the prison because I think is that how Black Plague started too? It's just
I thought that was flies, but I don't know.
No, plague. I don't know how it starts, but it's definitely carried by rats
by different animals.
and different
yeah.
animals.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably that's how it jumped, like from animals to
humans.
Yeah. Because there's an old saying or old kind of bit of trivia. I don't know if it's true or not. I think I read something that debunked this, but for a long time in Scotland in the 16th and 17th century, we thought that plague was spread by there was a correlation between plague and witches, and cats were associated with witches, so cats would be culled, and as a result the rat population boomed and the plague spread even more, which is why you should never kill a cat. But I think someone debunked that and was like, actually it would have spread anyway, but it was this interesting thing of like the assumption you make isn't always why
Can
you
shoot
become
yourself in
ill.
the foot, actually. Make it
Yeah.
worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all fascinating. Karen would love that too. I know she would.
I know. This is definitely, we'll need to tell her to listen to this episode.
Yeah. And that just goes along with, I think we were saying, like, if we brought a baby, do we have to consult with the council? Because I think if there were more dire straits as a nomadic population, maybe, like, and that's also maybe, no, that's not why Alpha was okay with giving up that baby. She was just crazy. But yeah, I think they have plentiful resources right now that they could, you don't have to be worried about bringing up a baby.
Maggie could breastfeed. They wouldn't need to get formula.
Yeah.
They just need to make sure Maggie had enough for herself. Food.
Yeah. Well, we see shades of that in season 2 when Laurie's getting extra rations. And there's a little bit of kind of sass about it in the group. No one's really angry or anything, but you know, like Daryl makes a crack about little Shane being hungry and things like that. It's something that we've seen play out on a micro scale before. It's interesting though, this idea, because you're not wrong to say that there is kind of a group interest now in whether or not a baby is brought into it. Maybe that's why it becomes so clear at Alexandria for Glenn and Maggie that they can have a child, because it is the most sustainable society that they've been in and it has children in it.
And there are children here too, so that's
great children. Lizzie and Mika are awesome. If I met them, I would definitely want kids.
Lizzie would be a reason not to have a kid around her.
Oh, Lizzie.
Okay, should we move on? You ready?
Why not?
Lucy, you have any more?
I think the set piece in the supermarket is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to say than that. I think it is the perfect tempo. Does that make sense? It starts
yes,
pacey.
The build up to it.
It feels like they're in control. Sasha's like, we put a boombox out there to draw them out. They're very casual. Everything seems fine. And then in classic Walking Dead style, everything goes to shit. The zombies on the roof is an amazing touch because you wouldn't think of that, I don't think, as on ground level.
It's a little bit like The Sickness. You think you have it all buttoned down, and then there's some vector that you didn't consider that's going to fuck it all up.
And one of the vectors of chaos here is Bob's addiction and his need to drink, and that's something that's going to come back later in the season when they go out on a run for antibiotics.
The clear lesson is, if you're going to reach for a bottle, then just drink it. Don't put it back on the shelf.
I think that's my philosophy. Always give in to your impulses. Never never be the
don't
better
second
person.
guess yourself. You could
don't second
somebody.
guess. Just drink it.
Just kidding, by the way. I don't mean to trivialize alcoholism, but
No,
I did think it was kind of funny that what caused the accident was when he put the bottle back. And I'm like, what kind of a lesson is that?
You know? This is not a good moral lesson, folks. I also laughed when Tyrese went back into Karen's cell and was like, I don't like it up there either. I was like, oh, Tyrese. So yeah, the bits that stand out to me from this are once everything's crashed in, I'd forgotten, but it lives in my head rent free. The intestine zombie who gets like tangled up in his own intestines when he falls through the roof. I'm like, oh!
Yeah, it's so gross.
Zach's terrible death, awful, harrowing death. Yeah. I think up to Noah, this was probably one of the worst sort of red shirt deaths that The Walking Dead has had.
And they did such a good job of making this character in very little screen time become so likable. And I remember thinking Bob or Zach could die because even though Bob was in the comic, you never know what they're going to do, right? So this is the perfect opportunity to remind us of the stakes by bringing in all these new characters, any of whom could be a red shirt, and it turned out to be Zach. And I didn't want Bob to die either, but I was bummed to lose this character right away because I liked him.
Bob is like kind of ruined for me. He's not really. I love Lawrence Gilliard Jr., but with the bad lip reading, the voice they give him where he's like, hey, like every time he talks, I'm like, oh yeah, he doesn't sound like that. So yeah, we see Zach gets bit. It's disgusting. Everyone's really worked up. Everyone's like shooting left, right, and center, and Bob kind of pulls a zombie's head apart, which is sick. And they barely make it out, and I love the way that it builds up, and it reminded me a lot of the final season opener where they're doing a kind of almost Mission Impossible style lift down into an ex-army building to get some ready-made meals. But this, I think, still feels quite grounded insofar as anything with zombies in it can feel grounded. Like the way that it's done, the way that it's shot, the stakes that are there, it's brilliant. So I really, really liked it. I'd forgotten it happened in this episode, and I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I one reason why I loved it is because I feel like I have to just suspend my disbelief a lot of times on this show that the zombies would be a threat when it seems like they could just run away. And my favorite set pieces are when it's in an enclosed space, it's dark, there's a lot of places for the zombies to hide, and especially in this case, they come just falling through the roof, so you don't see them coming at all. It just worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the build up, and I especially loved they go up to show the zombies on the roof, and then they come back after commercial break, and it's all calm, and you're wondering, how could that impact anything? They're up on the roof, and then you see Michonne see this zombie standee and get this look on her face like, oh, fuck that, and chop it in half. I just love that.
Yeah.
It's all well done.
I don't have any notes on this except for, like you guys said, I love the build up to it, how it's like all silent. It's wordless, and it's just, I remember my journalism professor always said action reveals character. And so, just Michonne smashing that cardboard monster thing was like really funny, and she's getting like a lot of lighthearted moments in this episode too, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's that false sense of security, isn't it? Like they're not arrogant. They're not, they're just like, yeah, we got this. It's cool. We can jump around. And then it's like, merp, merp. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Yes, I always love when Walking Dead does dialogue-free sequences well, like the first episode of season 3, which is a real standout. But I hadn't thought about this one as being one too, but you're right. You're so right.
Just a little bit, yeah. And then, we see that like Bob's is like the literal, or Bob is a manifestation of the past coming back to haunt him kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's an army vet, right? So seeing like all the maimed walkers like probably triggered his PTSD even more.
Well, there's a bit where he's staring at a kind of zombie that's been cut in half. And at first I thought this was foreshadowing tainted meat. But I think it is. We're dealing with this kind of military background that he has.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see Bob again. I know
Yeah,
he's
me
not a
too.
character I ever have as like my top characters, but I just think for the time he's with us, he's really engaging and just a fantastic actor.
He's unique to me. I remember him being having an interesting philosophy in his relationship with Sasha. I can't remember what it was now though, but I remember being interested in it. So I'm looking forward to rediscovering that when we get to that point. I remember really coming to like that character a lot.
Did he do many cons, Jason? Because he was quite a big,
Yeah.
Wow.
He did, and he was really great with the fans. And at one point, I did my own kind of little sub event the night before the convention where my friend the fire spinner came because it was here in San Francisco, and it was called the Barbecue, and we hired food trucks to come in with barbecue, because it was after the whole tainted meat thing. And I really wanted to get Lawrence Gilliard to come and be interviewed for it, but he declined, which was a bummer.
I mean, can you blame him being nervous about being invited to a barbecue?
I know. It was really fun though. But anyway, he was always super great to the fans and at the conventions, and a really nice guy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, my turn?
Yes.
Let's have story time. Once upon a time. No, I'm just kidding. This whole thing with Carol and the story time, I love the arc, because another way that this episode was great is they kept referring to story time, and it felt like, oh, that little quaint little thing with the kids, and Carl doesn't even want to go because he feels like it's too much of a kid thing for him, which fits with his character. He always wants to be an adult. And then we finally see it happening, and she's reading Tom Sawyer to them, which I think is kind of appropriate because Tom Sawyer's so independent, and she's, it turns out, trying to teach them to care for themselves. Yeah. And then the adult in the room leaves, and she immediately pulls out a box of knives. Today we're talking about knives, how to use them, how to be safe with them, and how they could save your life. Today we're going to learn how to hold a knife, how to stab and slash, where to aim for. And I just think it's so twistedly funny, and also very Carol. It's a crucial development in the story of Carol. I think it's the first time she made a kind of questionable and dark decision like this, but that becomes a core trait for her, where she presents as a stereotypical, unassuming, nurturing, motherly type. Here with story time, later with like baked goods and stuff, but it's at least in part a mask, and underneath she's cunning and fierce and pragmatic, and also, like I said, questionable. Like, I think her heart is in the right place. She's shaped by the loss of Sophia, who wasn't prepared for her encounter with the zombie. She doesn't want these kids to also not be prepared, but she should probably talk it over with the adults first, and the parents, and I'd think that they wouldn't mind their kids having some kind of a zombie preparedness course. Maybe it would have to do with weapons, but to do all of this without consulting the other adults, I think is wrong.
You guys brought up bad lip reading. All I could think of during that exchange between Carol and Carol was, "I'm a cheesy bird mess. Treat."
I see the zombies in this episode. There are some zombies who are in it.
There's a nature one. Yeah, there's one that walked up and I'm like, zombie in the wild. Treat.
Sorry.
What do you think it was right or wrong for her to do it?
I think it was right.
Yeah. You don't think she should
Yeah.
consult the parents?
I'm going to do a classic Jason Lucy argument. No, I think she was right, because those kids need to know that shit. And parents, she knows from her own experience that parents trying to protect their children and shield them from things run the risk of losing their children. And I think, though it's coming from a very hard place for her, I think she's doing the right thing. I put my stake in the ground and I'm going to stand by it.
Karen?
Yeah, it's kind of like universally agreed upon that children should grow up shielded from the harshness of the world, and we want to like reduce harm in all its states, physical and psychological, for a child. But yeah, I agree with Lucy. The calculus has kind of changed, and children need to be prepared for this kind of world.
I agree with that, absolutely. But I think that in this situation, that most of the adults would also agree with that there's going to come a time when your kid will probably be faced with what to do in the face of a zombie. And so they need to be prepared with that. Similar to how in the United States, our schools have shooter drills now, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that most adults would see that, okay, if I want to make sure my kid is safe, I'm going to have to have them taught what to do when a zombie comes. It's not today's world where you can get through most of your life, or at least you could 10, 15 years ago in the United States, without encountering any violence. So most parents would be against this kind of thing with their kids. It's the zombie apocalypse. So I think that most adults would think differently about it. And so I can respect, you know, we don't always have to agree, but I just want to say it one more time. The idea of going and telling my kids something like this behind my back would so enrage me. I would be ready to get Carol kicked out of that group at that point if I found that she was doing that without my permission. And that's what it brings up for me. Like, I'm okay with it, but let's all talk about how we're going to raise our kids together. Don't you decide how my kids are going to be raised.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The question isn't whether or not the class should be taught, it's whether or not it should be taught in secrecy.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I understand the other side. Like, what if she didn't even want to take the risk that people would say no?
Yeah. That's why I'm surprised that Carol's a part of the council.
Yeah.
When Herschel was
then she kills Karen and David without asking anyone too. So
I feel like that's worse.
I agree with that. That's worse,
the gun,
but
the
it's
gun and
along
knife
the same
training.
lines.
It's the same impulse,
Yeah.
but the homicide I'm gonna go with worse than knife skills. But yeah, okay, I take the point.
Like, if you had, you know, anyone who's like, I know better than everyone else, I'm going to teach your children, I'm going to kill the people that needs to be killed. I think Carol kind of benefits from this unassuming motherly facade that she puts up, where more people will stand up for her. Whereas if it was like, I don't know, Daryl doing that, maybe people would stand up for that too, actually.
No, I think you're totally right. And that's why she uses her, you know, she manipulates people later on with the cardigan and dressing up and being.
All right. Anything else?
I've got some notes.
Yeah, me too. I think all I have is notes. Karen, do you have any other points?
I had like an overarching point, overarching tomato, about like they bring about past, present, and future. We already talked about the present and how everybody's growing, but they bring up the past a lot in this episode too, in terms of like bringing up Lori and Clara bringing up that she was stuck in the airport at Puerto Vallarta, talking about details of the old world like the airport statues, Zach guessing what Daryl did before the apocalypse. So I thought that was interesting. And Glenn and Maggie bring up Lori, which represents past fears that could seize them and stop them from building a future, but later on we know that it doesn't stop them. We already discussed about the present and how they're ascending Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But the future is like table setting and foreshadowing a lot of things to come, which gives viewers the ability to anticipate or speculate what's going to happen. And we see Michonne looking at a map of Macon, Georgia. Is that where the Telltale Games take place? Macon?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So I think that was like an Easter egg. And so we know that the governor is still in play. Even though he's absent from this episode, his presence still looms pretty largely.
The specter of him out there somewhere. I love that.
Yeah.
And the fact that Michonne's, that's what she's doing during this time gap, is out going on patrols looking for him.
Right. And this episode also foreshadows Bob and Sasha's relationship. It foreshadows that the fences will eventually fall because they talked about clusters, like how they can't really, they're starting to cluster up.
Yeah.
And then the thing with Lizzie naming the walkers, that's a foreshadowing. It's good table setting.
It's a lot of setup, yeah.
Yeah, and then Bob's alcoholism is teased. And of course, Violet's sickness and Patrick dying is showing that the threat's going to come from within instead of being an external threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of interesting to have an episode with this woman, Clara, who kept her husband's zombie head in the same episode that introduced Lizzie, who's humanizing the zombies too. I wondered if they did that on purpose or if it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, I thought about that too. And also naming Violet, like naming different things and keeping different things. But that's it for me.
Since it's Lizzie and Mika, Brighton Charbonneau is Lizzie and Kyla Kennedy is Mika. And they were a regular, like this episode aired October 13th, 2013, and the first Walker Stalker Con was October 31st, Halloween weekend, 2013. And so we're coming into this 6-year period of time where I was going to conventions a lot, and every time a new character appeared on the show, pretty soon after this, I was like, I'm probably going to meet them soon. So it was a weird, interesting, cool, really cool, actually, time period. But Lizzie and Mika, those two actresses were super cool, super engaged, really, really fun. Mika in particular, Kyla Kennedy, her character is just this sweet little girl on the show, but in real life, she has this really sharp wit, and she would like throw insults that were really funny at the adults, and this guy Nick, who was part of our crew, he did a lot of the video stuff. He did a little web series with her where she would like bring one of the other actors on and just sit there and insult them like Kyla's Corner or something like that. And it was really funny, and it was so weird to see that side of her personality when you're used to seeing her character on the show. But yeah, they were great. And I remember, I'll maybe talk about this a little bit more when it comes, but they were both there for Walker Stalker weekends when The Grove aired. And so we went through a whole weekend of convention with them where they were totally tight-lipped, didn't give away anything that was about to happen. And then that Sunday night, we all watched The Grove together, not those two, but all of us, and thinking, man, that must have been hard for them to not be able to talk about it or anything.
Yeah. I'm so excited to get to the Grove again.
Yeah.
Although that sounds very bleak, but
there's just a group of really good, solid episodes in the second half of the season.
There really is. It compensates for the governor.
And like I said before, there's 2 governor episodes coming up where a lot of people did not like those, and 2 listeners asked me if they could come and be guest for those because they do like those episodes, Nathan Eshelman and Rebecca Louise. And I was glad for that because it'll be interesting to get their perspective on it.
Definitely.
When the time comes. Lucy, got notes?
So, not much. The Hyundai lives. We saw the Hyundai in this episode.
Wow.
So, yeah, happy that didn't get lost. Still sponsored.
If you would have asked me when we started this rewatch, how long is the Hyundai in it? I would have said till the end of season 2. So I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Karen's got Pookie watch. I've got Hyundai watch.
That's right.
The fall of the prison isn't sad because of the prison. It's sad because they never see the Hyundai again. I like Beth more in this episode because she's very chill. And I like this idea of I don't cry anymore, Daryl. This strength that she's found, I think, is very nice. And Beth hugging Daryl really interested me because Daryl is so frozen and so unused to physical affection. And it's just a nice character beat that it never puts her off. Like it never makes Beth is always physically affectionate with people in a way that it doesn't really matter to her whether or not they are responsive. She gives this affection quite freely, and I quite like that about her.
Yeah. She later also seems to be pretty clearly crushing on him, and I wonder if that's started now or not. I think maybe not.
My boyfriend died? Oh, that's sad. I'd like a hug.
I need a hug.
I think there are. There is a strong Bethel shipping out there. So I think this is some good fodder here, particularly when he says it's like a damn romance movie or something.
When they get to the episode where they drink moonshine and play Never Have I Ever, we're totally going to do that as part of our Patreon group. So join Patreon, you can be a part of that.
Woohoo.
Anything else? Karen, you have any more?
No, I was just going to say that Carrie Condon, we already said she's in Better Call Saul, but she was also great in the Oscar-nominated film Banshees of Inisherin. And she also got nominated for that, for Best Actress or Best Supporting. Yeah, she was really good in that.
Yeah, because she's done a lot with Martin McDonagh, who is Phoebe Waller-Bridge's partner. Random fact. The two of them are an item. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, me neither until recently. Then I was like, oh, that's a lot of talent for like one partnership.
Right.
Doesn't seem fair.
Right. Well, you and Peter.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
IMDb?
IMDb dive. Let's have a little look. 6 weeks before shooting began, fruits and vegetables were planted to turn the prison yard into a farmyard. The work was nearly ruined when a herd of deer got in and fed on the crops. This next one makes me really want to go and listen to the audio commentaries, which I haven't actually done for a lot of The Walking Dead. The pigs escaped during shooting, and Andrew Lincoln immediately ran after them to round them up.
Wow. That's method.
Yeah. The
thing with the deer is that the deer came in and ate all the crops, so they had to do CGI crops, and that's why they did CGI deer for the rest of the series. Not many people know that.
It was a CGI deer that came in. The Big Spot discount store in this episode does not exist in real life. However, the fictional store is based on the actual discount store Coon's Big K, which was a large discount store chain in the southeastern US that merged with Walmart in 1981. It once comprised 119 stores. The book Carol reads at story time as Tom Sawyer. This book is mentioned again later in season 4, The Grove. In the scene, Mika describes herself as Tom Sawyer, Lizzie as Huck Finn, and Carol as the Widow Douglas. From this episode until episode 410 Inmates, Judith Grimes is portrayed by Aniston Price and Tinsley Price, who replaced the previous twins Loudon and Leighton Case.
They're 35 now.
They are now in their 30s. This was the third lowest rated season premiere episode of the series, and it was the second season premiere episode to feature Days in the title after Days Gone By. To your point about Macon or Macon, I'm not sure how to say it, Macon. Soon after Michonne returns on horseback with the comic books for Carl, she tells Daryl, I didn't find him, and then says she's going to look near Macon. Daryl replies by saying 70 miles of walkers. The city of Macon is about 85 miles south of Atlanta, from downtown to downtown of each city.
Think bacon.
Macon.
There you go.
Later on, after they return from the run and she's looking at the map, you can see that it shows Macon County as indicated by the names of the surrounding towns, which is approximately 50 miles south and west of the city of Macon. I don't know what all that means, but there's a lot of Macon. Macon. This episode features the deaths of Patrick and Zach, and spoiler alert, Maggie does eventually become pregnant in season 6. I did not know. I did know that.
And the kid grows up to be, I guess we'll find out. The jury's out.
Yeah, jury's out.
And Dead City coming this spring. We may be doing Last of Us and Dead City at the same time.
Is Last of Us that soon?
Well, it's spring, so
holy moly.
I think April is when it's going to be starting. I am excited. I started replaying part 2 of the game just so I can, be good in our game segment. What do you call it? Game talk segments.
Excellent.
Only in The Walking Dead would dying of a sickness be the first day of the rest of your life.
It's only on The Walking Dead do you have walker decorations from the ceiling, like in your shopping store.
True. Unless it's Halloween.
The Walking Dead would your honeymoon end with a sandwich, Andrew Lincoln, and a bit of human harikari.
All the elements that you need.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some living dead, E-I-E-I-O. With a here, there, everywhere. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
infected news.
Right now in the United States, at least, you can watch all of The Walking Dead and the Daryl show on Netflix. Also, Fear the Walking Dead, if you would so choose to subject yourself to that. I'm so mean. Starting on January 13th, you will also be able to see Dead City and The Ones Who Live on there.
Oh, nice.
So only Tales of the Walking Dead and World Beyond won't be on Netflix, which is kind of a shame because I'm pretty partial to both those shows.
Yeah.
In the UK, I guess they're on Sky and Now TV.
No, they're now on Disney Plus as well.
Oh, wow.
Or instead of, yeah.
And I guess in other countries, Netflix availability varies by country. So I guess you'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
All right. On a panel at Comic-Con, at Comic Convention CCXP, Robert Kirkman said some interesting things. He revealed a few things about how the series got started that I haven't quite heard before. He talked about how crucial Frank Darabont was to getting the show made. He said, the honest truth is that Frank Darabont got The Walking Dead made. If Frank Darabont doesn't go into House of Secrets, a comic book store in Burbank, and somebody recommends him a Walking Dead comic, I'm not sitting here right now. So I guess he got recommended the comic, wanted to do the show on it. That's what got it going.
Amazing.
He said Kirkman never felt pressure to shift the storyline for the show. He said, I was able to avoid that because Walking Dead was a very desired project, and there was kind of a bidding war between HBO and AMC that was happening. And because of that bidding war, AMC and HBO kind of got into a competition of, we'll give Robert this. No, we'll give Robert this. No, we'll give Robert this. No, we'll give Robert this. And we just kept going. Well, HBO gave us this, and then AMC would go, all right. And then to HBO, we'd be like, AMC gave us this, and HBO would go, all right. And I kept getting more access, more control, more involved in the project until I was in the writer's room. I was full EP, executive producer. I was with everybody making casting decisions. I was fortunate that those two places wanted it. And if I hadn't had that, one of those two places probably would have been like, I don't think we need this guy from Kentucky who's never written television before. Maybe we'll just go with the Oscar-winning director. Being in my own head and knowing what I know about The Walking Dead, I was the guy that knew the most. I was pretty valuable in that room. So it's like I understand from their perspective how crazy the creators and authors and people seem. And so I can see their perspective. But at the same time, if any executives are out there watching Walking Dead, was a pretty popular show. And I cannot tell you how many times I was in a production meeting or a casting meeting or sitting in the writer's room going, I did this in the comic. This is how the audience reacted. If we do this in the show, this is how people react. And that stuff was very valuable. So I would say there is a tremendous value to keeping the original authors and creators involved in every step of the way. I just love that. I think that's so right on.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I've read that NBC and even HBO were interested but wanted to make the show less violent. And NBC actually said, does it have to have zombies in it?
Oh, man.
So I didn't know until today that HBO also wanted to make it less violent, which actually kind of surprises me. So I'm glad.
Well, they learned from that, didn't they?
Yeah, clearly with The Last of Us, they got full bore.
Read over my holidays, I don't want to call it a trashy romance novel because I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was trashy, by a writer called Olivia Dade. And the concept is essentially based on the Game of Thrones final season and what would happen if one of the actors from Game of Thrones or whatever, it's a different show in the books. Like, obviously, it's not specifically Game of Thrones. What would happen if one of the actors from the show was writing fan fiction to redirect their rage at the showrunners, and what if they then fell in love with another fan fiction writer, and then what happens after that? And it was very, very good. I think it was called Spoiler Alert, by Olivia Dade, and it was great. It was really, really fun and spicy and nice. So yeah, that just makes me think of that, to be honest.
That's awesome. I don't really read romance, but it makes me want to read that one.
Yeah, I'm going to check the title. I think it's Spoiler Alert because there's a few in the series. Yeah, Spoiler Alert.
Cool.
It's great.
That's really cool. So they're doing this whole Walking Dead Deluxe where Kirkman answers questions or comments about things in the back matter. And issue 103 came out recently. He had some interesting things to say about Negan. He said, post issue 72, which was the last issue to ship out before the TV show came out, I was fighting the, are you writing this so it can appear in the TV show feeling constantly. So the ideas got bigger and crazier, which led to all kinds of cool stuff. I have to admit, in the back of my mind, I was probably thinking, they'll never be able to put this foul-mouthed lunatic in the show. That has to be some element of Negan coming into being. Little did I know, eventually the amazing Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be bringing him to life in a way that would enhance the character to new, loftier heights. And I know Kirkman said the same or similar about Ezekiel and Shiva, that he put them in specifically because he wanted to prove to himself that he wasn't writing for the show because he thought they'll never put a tiger in the show, you know. But that kind of shows that the show actually did influence the comic in a way, because it forced him to make it more outlandish.
Yeah.
Or convinced him to, or whatever, pushed him to. Second to last thing, there's a John Wick spinoff coming out this summer called From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, and Norman Reedus is in it, which is why I'm mentioning it. He's in a supporting role. The premise is taking place between the events of Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Chapter 4, Eve Macaro. A ballerina assassin begins to train in the assassin traditions of the Ruska Roma and sets out to exact revenge for her father's death. Reedus plays Daniel Pine, a mysterious man. That's all it says. And at this same comic convention, he talked about the fighting styles of this John Wick movie, Ballerina, with the Daryl Show. He said it's a different fighting style, totally. The Walking Dead's very sloppy. This is very choreographed, and a lot of people put it together to make it safe and look spectacular. Which, if I was a Walking Dead person, I might be saying, so you're saying we're sloppy and unsafe and doesn't look spectacular?
I have piece of news. It's not that exciting. Today, what's up? I'm just feeling fine. No. This morning on YouTube, I saw a trailer for Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun's upcoming film, Love Me, which is out at the end of January. Karen, I think you told me about this film last year, and I buried it in my consciousness and remembered it when I saw the trailer today. So the film stars Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun as two apparent vloggers who have left behind one hell of a digital footprint in the aftermath of some earth-shattering, humanity-ending disaster. The concept is that, I'm going to say this wrong, a buoy? I would say a boy, but I think that's wrong. A buoy, who's played by Kristen Stewart, seeks to find out more about the history of humanity via Google. And
she means an actual buoy. It's in the ocean, but it's like this technological thing. Yeah.
Yep. And shares communication with a satellite played by Stephen Yeun. I'm getting this from the AV Club, by the way. And their consciousness is have a relationship. And the mechanical objects fall in love as the pair recognize each other. So I'm excited for that. I like Stephen Yeun's choices in what he does and what he performs in. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I think Jason and I were talking about it earlier this week too. Like, it actually got a lot of critical panning at Sundance, because I think the concept is really hard to grasp, and it's like this big existential metaphorical thing, but that's my catnip too. So
yeah,
I kind of want to, I think the trailer makes it look really good and really interesting.
I thought so, but yeah, I don't know. I wonder. It makes me want to watch it. I mean, maybe it's just too weird for people because all humans are gone and it's two robots having a relationship, but it looked really fascinating to me.
Maybe we should cover it.
Yeah.
If it's good. If it's just really bad, I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see, yeah. But if it's good, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
All three of us could. For sure.
That would be fun.
I would be interested if it's good.
Or if it's bad and you two want to, that's fine. Go for it.
Or I'll get my car to fill in for me, or another household object with autonomy.
Alexa and Siri can...
Yeah, Alexa and Siri. The film was good.
The last thing I'll say about that is I think I'm just excited to see both Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun, because they both started in such heavy franchised shows or material. And so they were both able to break away from Glenn and from Bella, from Twilight.
Stephen Yeun, I mean, we covered Minari, right? And he's doing that new Bong Joon-ho movie, which I hope is good. Yeah. And he's just done such interesting things. But he also did, like, he's doing Invincible. He's the voice of the main character.
Yeah, so
and
good.
even he does the Voltron cartoon. So he's not just fully gone into the whole like indie thing. He's done a wide range of interesting things.
Yeah.
Cool. Last thing, I mentioned it earlier, but The Last of Us Season 2 is coming within a few months here. I think it's going to be April. They said spring, but they have to do a certain amount of episodes before May 30th in order to be eligible for Emmys, which they said they wanted to. So I think it's going to be April. And I started replaying part 2 of the game in preparation, and I'm so glad I did, because just getting back into it, I'm like 2 or 3 hours in. It's getting me so excited for the series.
Oh, sorry, you said Emmys. It just made me think of one more thing. I don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, but Coleman Domingo is nominated for his role in Sing Sing.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's and they say he's probably gonna take it. So he's been nominated for Golden Globes or today, I think. So yeah, if people are interested, I've heard great things about Sing Sing, the film. So please seek that out. I'm gonna definitely watch that. It's coming back in theaters January 17th.
Yeah, I've heard buzz about that too.
Yeah.
And he just did the voice in something. I'm going to look it up here. Oh, he's going to be Norman, not Reedus. Who's the bad guy, the Green Goblin?
Osborn.
Norman Osborn in the new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man TV series that's coming to Disney Plus. The Emmy thing's way more interesting, but I just glad to see him go on to do such great things, because he's so good and he deserves to have these great roles, and get more exposure and all that.
He's incredible.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to listener moans, groans, and grunts.
All right, so Daniel Dement just says season 4 is fantastic. Agreed.
Brad Holt says, excited to be back to the rewatch. You and me both, Brad. I haven't revisited season 4 in so long. Really looking forward to this. Directed by Greg Nicotero and written by Scott Gimple, this premiere episode does an excellent job of setting up, teasing the various story arcs we get in season 4. The outbreak, the exile, the fall of the prison, the road stories. Let's go.
Let's go.
Brad, I think that's like the tagline, the outbreak, the exile, the fall of the prison. Like, that's awesome.
Honestly, I'm really excited for this point in the rewatch. I think
Me too.
We're coming into parts of The Walking Dead that I like better than anything we've seen yet. I know I'm in the minority there. People like the first couple seasons, but I'm so excited about 4 and 5. Okay, Nathan Eshelman says, I totally forgot Kyle Gallner was in this episode. He played Beth's boyfriend. He's had a great career in horror, being in the Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Smile franchises. He was also in Strange Darling, my favorite movie last year. That's interesting. I didn't know
I love
any of that.
Kyle Galtner.
It's fun to look back on these one-off characters you forgot were in the show and realizing how much more stuff they've been in over the past 10 years. There's a lot of great character moments in this episode, even without dialogue or exposition. As you said, Karen, you can tell Bob struggles with alcoholism just by the way he shamefully contemplates taking a bottle, absolutely hiding it in his jacket and then putting it back. Lawrence Gilliard Jr. tells the story just with his movements.
Yeah. I really have to watch The Wire. All these people coming from The Wire.
Yeah.
Okay. Chandra Wright says, I can't remember, is this the first time we hear the vetting 3 questions asked? Nope.
We've answered? Nope.
Yeah. She goes on, I recall there was some discussion on the original watch of the value of those 3 questions. How many walkers, how many people, and why? I think, as well as any interview questions can, this set quickly tries to uncover the core of who a person is. If the walker kill count is unusually low, that tells you that the person has been behind walls or otherwise protected. It may not be much of a fighter. They could be a liability to watch. If the human kill count is high or low, that's also revealing, but it's the why where the most interesting information is uncovered. I interview people as a part of my job, and the stats that people share versus the information learned through a couple of strategically placed, open-ended questions can be really different. You can start to tell if they are BSing you or being modest, and if they're primarily focused on self or capable of playing well with others. Anyway, I like the 3 questions and the answers given by the lady in the woods. Really helped humanize her for me. Looking forward to continuing the rewatch. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year.
I love that, where you're asking open-ended questions and looking for those different kinds of things that might not really be that apparent in the question itself. Actually, Chandra, I'd love to know what some of those questions are, and if maybe I can repurpose them if I ever get around to interviewing more actors again, because I always love when we can get them to talk off script and not just go through things that they say all the time, you know.
It makes me think of the scene in Parks and Recreation where one of the characters, who's very, very nervous about being on TV, goes on a talk show, actually hosted by Joan Calamezzo, who turned up in Fear the Walking Dead, and she asks like one question, he goes on like a 10-minute sweaty rant that ends with him being like, who doesn't have gay thoughts sometimes? And like the question's just been really like banal. And they changed the caption to Ben Wyatt, human disaster. So yeah, I hope Chandra's had some entertaining experiences like that. Josie Bowen Echtel says, oh, sweet Beth. I love seeing her on our screens again, and I loved how she asked Daryl if Daryl was okay too. Such a special friendship that blossoms there eventually. I've had nightmares about the lady with the accent, I'll be honest. I hope you mean the Irish lady and not me, Josie, but I'll leave that one out. This is one of those episodes that just sort of haunting. Everything from Lizzie, the pig, the crazy lady. I love seeing the group thrive with all their farming and how united they all feel. I do think it's odd that they eventually share that Rick was raised on a farm in The Ones Who Live, especially now looking at this episode and seeing Farmer Rick in action. Yes, that bothered me too, Josie. It certainly seems that wasn't the backstory from the get-go. I know.
Is that she's saying that because he doesn't already know how to do it because Herschel's having to teach him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, minor details, but it bothers me. Also kind of shocking they didn't hear the walkers and whatnot on the roof, but I do like how it all plays out. So intense. I don't remember if they ever go back there, but what a good store to loot. Shout out to Carol for teaching survival skills. What an icon. I love Herschel in this episode too. So wise and insightful. Excited we're all back. Can't wait to keep hearing coverage. So I have a convoluted mental gymnastics about how we can make both things be true. Rick mentions that he has a brother, and I think that's canon in the comics as well. In some farming families, I believe the oldest son is taught about the farm in order to be given it, and the other kids are expected to go and find other careers. So maybe that happened, but I also agree with Josie that it's just kind of bollocks.
Also, my stepdad was a mechanic and I didn't like him and I don't know anything about cars.
There you go. We made it make sense.
Claire Redderer says, I'm also rewatching. Is it my turn? It's my turn, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Rewatching Better Call Saul at the moment. And I was happy to see Carrie Condon, Stacey Ermintrout, who plays Clara in this episode. Yay. The Walking Dead is so good at giving us an array of an eccentric and haunting guest characters. Too bad they almost always kill them right away. This was the first episode where it seems that the group really has their footing. Even though it's short-lived, it's nice to see that they can have peace, community, and synergy. I agree. I mean, this is the most attractive that the prison ever was and ever will be, is this episode, I think. The prison felt like an actual home, unlike in season 3 where it still felt like a place they were just surviving. I especially love seeing how the characters are coming into their own. They haven't really been able to do that since the beginning of the show, as every decision and move has been about survival. Yeah, that's another thing that's interesting about this episode. It really feels like the first time where they're able to just go up the Maslow's hierarchy a little bit because they're not in danger, you know. I've loved learning about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and The Walking Dead throughout its 11 seasons has always been a fascinating job of illustrating this. It's good to see them attempt to climb the pyramid, even though we know they're going to fall to the bottom again by the mid-season finale. Season 4 in general has some of the best episodes of the show's run. Episodes 5, 8, 9, 11, 14, and 16. I'll take your word for it.
Love that. Love that specificity.
So I'm very excited to start the rewatch again. A happy, healthy, and blessed 2025, friends, and don't get bit. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire. Love you.
Billy Thompson says, hello, hello. I hope you all had a great holiday and new year. Season 4, let's go. Wow, Carl looks a lot older from last season. It's great seeing them all age again through the rewatch. I love where Carol and Daryl's relationship is in the episode. All the joking and teasing, it's brilliant. Ah yes, Bob, probably one of the most realistic characters in TWD. Doesn't mean that he doesn't annoy the shit out of me. I love how in the earlier seasons we always get a kind of introduction to the characters again, just how they are portrayed in the first episode of a new season. For example, Michonne looking all badass, riding in the horse, and Daryl being loved by everybody but not knowing how to deal with it. Yeah. A lot of jokes in the episode too. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember finding it so funny first time around. Michonne mentions looking for the governor near Macon, which we get to see in the Telltale series, but would have also been cool to see on our TVs. Maybe an episode similar to Clear, where Michonne and Glenn go off to look for the governor there. Seeing it was Glenn's hometown in the Telltale series, they could have tried to link him with it somehow. I have just checked the wiki, and it says Michigan is Glenn's hometown in the TV series, but still would have been cool to see, and a slight reference to the comics and Telltale series. OMG, I totally forgot about the scene of the walkers falling through the roof of the shop and the walker hanging by its guts. It has to be one of my favorites. Overall, such a good episode to kick off season 4. It gets me so excited for the rewatch. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Billy.
Rachel Teal Edwards says, Happy New Year, Zed friends. Happy New Year, Rachel. I can think of no better way to start 2025 off right than getting back to this Walking Dead rewatch at the beginning of season 4. This makes me so happy. This is such a good episode. Actually, the more I think about it, the better it gets. On the surface, things seem peaceful and optimistic for our crew. The prison is running like a well-oiled machine. Everyone has a job to do and is doing it well. Daryl Dixon is the coolest dude alive. Rick is a stable, light-hearted farmer. Romance is in the air. Everyone has witty banter with each other. But there's a deep sense of unease lingering below the surface. We find out that Rick is traumatized to the point of being fully avoidant of any hint of his past self. Michonne is obsessed with finding a needle in a haystack. Carol has started her secret-keeping behavior. And Bob has some active demons of his own. Knowing everything that transpires over the course of this season, I realise there is a ton of delicious foreshadowing in this episode. I'll start with the disturbing storyline of Clara. She's like a walker who hasn't actually died yet, more walker than human. I don't know why the fact she's Irish makes her creepier, but it does. She looks like she's already dead, so every time she speaks it feels unnatural, and the whole time she's with Rick, we're just waiting with bated breath, wondering what the hell is actually going on with this woman. Unsurprisingly, she ends up being too far gone, and so begins the can you come back conversation that is a persistent debate throughout the series, and something Rick especially continues to struggle with. Rick says, how that woman wound up, I got close to that. Herschel responds, you came back, you get to come back, you do. Sidebar, Rachel, I really like that Rick and Herschel scene. It was very, very sweet. Rachel goes on, I almost can't take the foreshadowing in this conversation, knowing the horror that is yet to come. In the mid-season finale that directly correlates to this scene and how far removed Rick becomes from the current version of himself afterwards. His stability seems tenuous at best right now anyway, and he probably feels that too, hence his avoidance of the outside world and refusal to carry his gun. Of course, we have to mention Lizzie and her BFF, Nick the Walker. She's just a sweet little girl who believes walkers are valuable human lives, totally harmless. Time for story hour, where Carol will teach her how to kill people.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. Carol kind of gave her the tools for her own undoing.
The light-hearted banter interspersed throughout this episode is really something to treasure. It's so short-lived, it's absolutely refreshing and makes me smile. Daryl is as close to a normal guy as he ever gets in this episode, and Michonne's smile is like feeling the sun after a long, gloomy winter. Carol is teasing and flirty in a weird way with Daryl, but most importantly tells him, give the stranger sanctuary, keeping people fed, you're going to have to learn to live with the love. I mean, come on, she might as well have said sanctuary for all, community for all, those who arrive survive. Love, love, love the scene between Daryl and Beth at the end. First, we see Beth writing in her journal. More foreshadowing of significant scenes with a much different vibe in later episodes. It becomes clear that she and Daryl have formed a relationship in the months since we last saw them and are pretty close. Close enough that he went to tell her about Zach instead of her own brother-in-law. This intimate moment between them in which she ends up comforting Daryl originally caught me off guard. Two people who never would have associated with each other in the pre-apocalypse seemed like such an odd pair, but they find connection and love for one another unlike any relationship on the show, any other relationship on the show. Two characters who complement each other surprisingly well and whose chemistry creates a dynamic I could watch endlessly. Oh geez, I'm going to make myself cry thinking about what's to come. Okay, zombies. This episode is directed by Greg Nicotero in the most obvious and wonderful way because OMG, these zombies. The one hanging from the roof by its intestines, the one crawling with its foot hanging by a thread dragging behind it. Too many good ones to name. With regard to the writing, Mr. Gimple, I do take issue with the fact that a helicopter apparently crashed on the roof of a Big Lots at some point and did not fall through immediately when it crashed. And what were all these people doing on the roof in the first place? Presumably waiting for the helicopter. But the action sequence is awesome enough that I easily suspend my disbelief. Some notes. Two phrases so cringe I almost vomited. Sorry, Pookie, and young sir. Michonne gloriously rides in on horseback and then gives Rick trimmers for his already perfectly manicured beard. Made me laugh. Andy Lincoln couldn't have grown it out a bit to make this make sense. Herschel, on the other hand, Santa emoji. And finally, if Daryl Dixon licked his fingers while looking me in the eyes, then shook my hand like that, I might actually spontaneously combust. Drool emoji, fire heart emoji, fire emoji. So excited to finally be in season 4. Oh, fun fact. I am pregnant and due in early April. Aw, congratulations.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So this season will bring me up to and past the birth of my daughter. I'm already thinking, OMG, I hope I don't miss out on the feedback for my favorite episodes because I'm in labor or like caring for a newborn. This is commitment, people. Bye. Oh, congratulations, Rachel. All the best babies are born in April. I know this from experience.
That's so cool. You'll have time to watch TV while you're like nursing and everything. So
absolutely. So what we're saying is there's no excuse. You got to keep writing in. So
wow, something you said kind of blew my mind about she's teaching Lizzie to kill Carol, because it reminded me of our conversation earlier in this podcast about how sometimes when you're trying to help, you end up making things worse. Yeah. And she specifically says, I'm going to show you where to stab. And then Lizzie ends up stabbing Mika. So that makes me think that this was planned from this moment, right? That Gimple knew what was going to happen later in the season. And this was the seed of it. Carol gave her the tools potentially. I mean, it's not too hard to know you stab somebody in the stomach, but I still think that there's something to this. And it reminds me right. Also as how later on in the series, when Carol tells Sam this creepy story of zombies in the forest, that he'll be tied to a tree and they'll eat him or whatever. And then when he encounters zombies, he screams and gets himself and his mother killed. And I kind of thought Carol didn't really help in that situation too much either. So I wonder if this is like a deliberate or recurring theme with her.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting. Congratulations, man. That's so cool.
That's amazing.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
All right, let's hear from Renee.
Renee calling in about The Walking Dead. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025. It's going to be an awesome 2025. I'm putting that out in the universe. And we know it's going to be an awesome 2025 because I see that Rachel posted on the Facebook page that she's having a baby. Congratulations, Rachel. I am super duper excited for you, girl. And we're going to have a virtual Zoom baby shower or something so we all can all attend the baby shower. All righty, let's get started. Rick Grimes. Okay, come on. Now, Farmer Rick Grimes, oh my gosh, he was looking all dirty and grimy. He is so sexy to me. Like, I love me a Southern man. I mean, I love a man that can get his hands dirty. Do you hear me? Sometimes I forget I'm even supposed to be looking at zombies. I'm just looking at Rick. It's like sometimes I just get lost in his eyes and his smile. I just really get carried away. But all righty. I thought Rick, that was so cute when Rick was telling Carl not to name the pig. And then when Carl looked all sad and was like, all right, Rick was like, okay, Ballard, feel better. He's such a good father. And I really hope that we get to see him interact with RJ and Judith again. I am praying for that. There's just no way that this is going to be over. I can't wrap my head around that this is the end. It just cannot be.
It's interesting. She said, I forgot, but she said Rick told Carl not to name the pigs. And that's because you don't want to get too attached, right? Because they're going to die. And then Carl tells Lizzie not to name the zombies. And that's also not to get too attached, but so they won't kill you because you'll let your guard down. And then I think that also kind of hooks into Beth not letting herself get too attached to her boyfriend. So that's like a little undercurrent theme going through this whole thing too.
Definitely.
Also, I understand why the people was in awe of Daryl, and wanting to shake his hand, because I'm sure this is the safest place they have been since the ZA started, and then they realize that our group is good keep people. But Daryl, he is so crass. I mean, licking his fingers and then shaking that young man's hand. It's like, ew, like Daryl, seriously? Come on now. Germs? But actually, this episode lets you know that, germs. I mean, we still should care about germs. It's like doing the ZA. Who cares about germs? This episode here lets you know we need to still care about germs. Oh, I thought it was super cute when Carol called Daryl Pookie. I thought that was cute. I know Rachel was like, she really wanted to throw up, but I just thought it was super cute, man. And Beth, she is so cute. I'm not understanding why she gets so much hate, because Beth is the cutest. Like, she's just a cute young lady growing up in the ZA. She's just, I don't understand the hate. And when Herschel was telling Rick about the plant, and when he was saying that things break, but then they can still grow, the bristles will take root and we'll have a whole new plant. Yeah. I really feel they was referring to Rashon, because then they cut, Rick heard the whistle, and then they cut to Michonne. I'm telling you, this was going down right in front of our face. And the first time I missed a lot of the signs. I truly missed a lot of the signs. Now, was I shipping them? Of course, but I still missed a lot of the signs that I'm seeing now. And Michonne, they didn't actually tell her backstory, but you could tell, seeing her with the baby, that she lost someone. With Judith, and just her sitting there holding Judith like that, it's like Judith is the one that's going to bring you back. Like, you're actually going to be this little girl's mother. Like, this is, I am so happy we're doing this rewatch. I'm telling you guys, I am just so happy to just look at it in a whole new light. It is truly amazing to me when I watch The Walking Dead. And I just really want to bring this up. I'm just really trying to figure out, why on The Walking Dead do they always leave things that they can use? The army trucks are much more durable than a freaking regular car. Why didn't they take the army trucks? Why they never take the guns and the bullets and all the things that they could use? And I hope they went back, as Rachel called it, the big lots. Because all that stuff was in big lots. We would have had all of that, okay? We would have had everything that was in there. We would have had to go back, play the radio again, and get the zombies up out of there, because they had so much stuff that they can use. And when Tyrese asked Sasha, was there ever a time you wasn't the boss of me? It made me think about my brothers, because I have 5 brothers. I'm the oldest girl, and they always calling me bossy, which I am. And, of course, I talk a lot, because I done went on and on and on. Alrighty, I will talk to you guys. Peace and love. Happy 2025 again.
Oh, happy 2025,
happy
Renee.
2025. That's great.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I love it.
She mentioned something. Oh, yeah, just Michonne holding Judith. I didn't think about that. That's really good. Think about where that goes.
Yeah.
Who pledged their support